Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
We don't have much time. How much time do we have up till? 6 o'clock. 5:15. Are you sure? Are you sure we have time up till 5:15? Sure. How are you sure? How are you sure we'll all live to see 5:15? We don't have much time. We're all going to die soon. You're all mostly what? Under 25? Already 25 of your years have gone. And I'm already almost 50. We don't have much time. Any time could be the last moment. We don't have much time. Human form of life we attain after many, many births. And we waste so much time. Childhood is wasted just in having nappies changed, passing stool, slobbering all over the place. And we waste so much time. We go to school and we learn. Most of the things we learn are completely useless. As the teachers at school told me, one teacher told me, which we already understood anyway. We don't have much time. One of the teachers at school said that almost everything that you're learning now, as soon as you finish the exam, you can forget it all. And it won't make any difference in your life whatsoever. So we waste so much time learning so many things which are useless to us. Who does calculus? Any of you know how to do calculus? Quite a lot, yeah. All the engineering students.
I've done it, but I forgot it. I've done it, but I forgot.
I couldn't understand.
I've done the calculus, but now I've forgotten.
You've forgotten. Yeah, me too. If you show me a calculus, I look at it and I say, that's calculus, and that's all. I wouldn't know what to do with it. There's so many things we learn. So we learn so many things at school, we spend so much time. And then we fall in love, and we waste so much time with that. We spend so much time eating and sleeping and passing stool and gap shop, like chickens. You see the chickens? You don't see in Delhi so much. If you go in the village or small town, you have chickens running here and there. So like that, human beings also, they're wasting so much time just talking. Well, did you see this? Well, this one came the other way, and he said that, and they said that. What do you think will come in the future? And life spoiled, talking rubbish. Rubbish. Even the things which we think are serious, it's all rubbish. Just like you'll see in the newspaper. There's just coming up now a very important, crucial match between India and Pakistan. Historical match. It's just rubbish. Crucial match. Crucial what? 11 idiots on one side, 11 idiots on the other side, and 11 crore idiots watching on the TV. And what are they? Throwing a ball, hitting it, and running. A crucial match. Vital. Historical game. So we waste our time with that, and then we waste our time growing old, and then we die, and then we become a frog or a hog or a chicken or a tree or a rat or a giraffe or a hippopotamus or something like that. And after many lifetimes we may get the human birth, but human birth is meant for getting free from birth and death. Human life is meant for understanding what is reality. Human life is meant for asking the real questions and getting the real answers. All this knowledge, so-called knowledge, you're all studying, it's because people ask questions. As the fairy story goes, Sir Isaac Newton, well, he was just plain Mr. at that time, was sitting under a tree and an apple fell on his head. And then he asked, why? Boom! The law of gravity. And he became Sir Isaac Newton. So all this knowledge came because people asked questions and tried to find the answers, but they all missed the real proper question, the most important question. What is the meaning of reality? What is reality? Sometimes the scientists, I was looking at that popular science book, and they're trying to answer the question, what is reality in terms of science? Or what is science? There's a very good example given in ancient Vedic philosophy, which Prabhupada often used to quote. It's called Kupamanduka Nyaya, or more simply, the frog in the well. A frog is sitting at the bottom of a deep well and enjoying life because there are a few insects flying around and he catches them. That was good. And he's also a philosophical frog. So he looks up and sees there's a light at the top of his well. Some of the time it's light and some of the time it's dark. And occasionally a blinding bright light comes at the top of the well. Not very often, time to time. Then it passes over in a few minutes. And sometimes in the darkness he sees a few freckles, spots. And sometimes even in the darkness some kind of big yellow ball comes in the sky. So he philosophizes about it. Dr. Frog, the brilliant scholar. But it's beyond his ability to even imagine that there is life beyond the well. You're asking, is there life on other planets than Earth? No, it's just beyond the... It's so far beyond the imagination of the frog that what is bigger, the frog in the well? If there's an ant crawling on our body, the ant is on the body of the human, but the ant has no means to understand what is human life, what is human consciousness, what are the concerns of humans. He happens to be biting, he's on the body of Sachin Tendulkar as he's about to hit a ball, and the ant bites him and he misses the ball and he gets bowled out. And then the crucial match between India and Pakistan is lost because of an ant biting. But the ant has no idea what went on. He just got... And that was the end of that incarnation. So he has no idea. The worm is living in stool, thinking this is a very nice stool. He has no idea what is stool, and gets taken to, the worm is in the stool, and then the stool gets taken to the laboratory and comes back and the test says, you got worms in your stool. But the worm doesn't know anything about it. The worm doesn't know what is stool or sputum or any of these different words. For the worm, reality is stool, although he doesn't even know the word. He lives in it, he's born in it, he eats it, he mates in it. So we're in a very insignificant position, but the human form of life is meant not for trying to ascertain in terms of matter, the frog in the well, but to try to ask the real questions of life. Atato Brahma Jignasa. What is the nature of reality? Instead of asking, what is the specific density of this liquid? Or how much proof is this bottle of whiskey? Or what are who are the main candidates in the upcoming presidential election? It's a very important question, isn't it? Who will be the next president of America? Who would like to put forward a suggestion? Who would be the next Prime Minister of India? It's a very important question, isn't it? For every Indian, not very. Much more important question is, what will be my next existence? Now I'm in this human body, I have to suffer, I'm suffering birth after birth after birth. So where do we go from here? Human life is a crossroads. You can go up, down, left, right. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasto madhye tishtanti rajasaha. Jaganya guna vritisto adho gachanti tamasaha. If we act in sattva gun, then we go up. If we act in rajagun, then we stay somewhere around here. And if we act in tamagun, then we go down to go down to the hellish worlds, or we enter the lower species of life. So the human form of life, it's the time for asking these questions. In other species of life, there's no possibility of asking such questions. So you can't even discuss. Even if human beings, they manage to communicate, they can communicate in some way with animals. Just like you can train a dog to be a guide dog for blind people, Labradors usually. And collie dogs are used for rounding up sheep, and the different breeds of dogs are better for different tasks. You can train them. So there is some kind of communication possible between humans and animals. But you can't have a philosophical discussion with any animal. What do they say is the most intelligent animal? The dolphin? Or they always used to say the chimpanzee, but sometimes you say the dolphin. What's the latest opinion? Huh? Dolphin is the most intelligent. So you think you can have a philosophy? They have their means of communicating, right? They make sounds and they communicate. Even whales, they're supposed to be able to communicate over long distances, many miles. They talk to each other. But even if you learned whale language, could you have a philosophical discussion? I mean, most human beings you can't even have a philosophical discussion. What to speak of animals? That's why the Vedic literature, it may seem very harsh, but most human beings fall in the category of dvipada pashu. They have two legs, which is supposed to be the distinguishing characteristic of humans and animals. But by consciousness, they're like animals. Because ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanameta pashubhiyanaranam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesham dharmena hina pashubhiyanaranam. Simple mathematics. Human being plus animal plus dharma equals human being. So A plus B equals C. So C minus B equals A. Human being minus dharma equals animal. Humans and animals eat, sleep, mate and defend. But humans have the propensity to ask the question, why? What is the purpose of life? So if we don't make this Brahma Jignasa, Brahma Anusandhan, then we are simply animals in human form, wasted our human form of life. So we don't have much time. Krishna consciousness is not a hobby. It's not something to do on Sunday only. It's very nice you've all come here. There are many other things you could be doing, especially in a big city like Delhi. There's so many things you could be doing. And most youth wouldn't even dream of wasting their valuable time coming to a religious meeting. They've got many more important things to do. They think that's for old women only. Or that's for sentimental middle-aged women or uneducated people. They think like that. Actually don't go to religious meetings, better not, but go to philosophical meetings. Prabhupada, sometimes he didn't like that Krishna consciousness. He said don't present Krishna consciousness as a religion, but as a educational, cultural, philosophical and scientific movement for the transformation of the whole world. Because if you say religion, then immediately people want to put you in a box, a Muslim box, Hindu box, Christian box. It's a religion. But people think religion means a kind of faith which has no real basis. You just believe it. There's no real reason to, but it's a psychological crutch because you can't face up to the world, so you just have this psychological crutch called religion, and you believe in God because you haven't got anything else to believe in. You don't have any money, or so believe in God. We don't have enough money, so we believe in God and hope that He'll send us some someday. So Krishna consciousness is not a religion in the ordinary sense of the word. You go to church or something, you pray, "Dear God, give me more of the good stuff." We wrote, "In God we trust." Now you should reciprocate with our trust. Send us more. In God we trust, not in the government. They make paper money and then they cheat. They print more and more and more, which cheats the people, but they don't understand that. Prabhupada pointed out how paper money means simply cheating people. That's another whole big discussion. How we are cheated by paper money. Anyway, the point is that we have to be serious. We don't have much time. We said we have to up to 5:15. We don't know. We don't know. There's no guarantee. Of course, it's stated that as long as one goes on hearing Hari Katha, there can be no danger, actually. In Bhagavata, it's stated that as long as the sages were going on hearing the rishis at Naimisharanya, there's no question of Yamaraj coming. That means even if someone passes away in the middle of it, Yamaraj won't come. The Vishnu Dutas will come instead. This Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was giving a lecture once in one village, and there was some commotion because it was a deity installation, Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman deities. So there was some commotion. People said, what's going on? The young baby, 2 years old, fell into the Yagya Kund with the fire. Said, everyone upset. And Bhakti said, just sit, go on hearing. And then the little boy came in completely unharmed, and he said, where there's Hari Katha going on, there cannot be any calamity. So we should go on hearing and chanting about Krishna. Try to understand what is the real meaning of life. The real meaning of life is to understand who we are. We're not the body. The body is temporary, very complex, but temporary. Life is not simply a combination of chemicals. Life means Jivatma. It's already researched. All the great rishis means those who see reality. The Veda Vani, subtle forms. Sarvagatam Brahma is all pervading. The rishis can see and they can show it to us, just like the scientists, the modern scientists. They have some ability to understand subtle points which others don't. They're given that inspiration. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matasmriti jnanam apohanam cha. The Lord is within the heart. He gives knowledge. People are looking for, of course it may not be fully correct, but they're seeing something, they're getting something. It's not that science is all wrong or rubbish. Often their interpretation of it is not correct, but many of the things the scientists say are not incorrect. Otherwise, how could they make this mic? If they did, they must be knowing something. So they know something, but then their conclusions that they make that there's no God, that's not scientific. But they're getting some knowledge, and they've been able to produce things like this and things like this. I think there's about 30 gigabytes, which no one even dreamed of a gigabyte when I started using computers. It was only DOS, and that was it. I mean, it's not even they couldn't even imagine having. Anyway, so they have some knowledge, so that inspiration is coming. Krishna is giving them some knowledge. Krishna is rewarding their jara jignyasa, their inquiries into matter. So the sages, they do Brahma Jignyasa, and the Veda Dhvani is revealed within their heart, and they distribute that to human society. That is there in the form of Shastra. So we should take advantage, especially those who are born in Bharata Bhumi. It is a great opportunity. Don't know when you will get it again. It's a rare chance. You're running to the British Council for knowledge, but Britishers like me are running to India for real knowledge. Real knowledge that is given in Bhagavad Gita as it is, and in even more detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. So you take this opportunity. Don't waste time in useless pursuits. Every moment should be spent on this mission. Brahma Jignyasa, Brahma Anusandhan. Anyone, just like Isaac Newton, do you think he was playing golf on Sundays? Of course, they didn't have golf in those days, but the point is that he was focused, right? He had some mission in life. This Dhirambhai Ambani, he didn't become a multi-crorepati by growing flowers in his back garden. He concentrated with full attention on what he was doing, and due to some past karma, he was rewarded with a vast business empire. Of course, that's completely useless to the soul, but I'm just giving the example. He was serious about what he was doing, even though what he was doing wasn't serious. Now, people think he was a great contributor to the progress of India, but the real progress of India is being made by the modern rishis, the followers of Srila Prabhupada. This is the real progress of India. The real progress of the whole human race is the quest for understanding spiritual knowledge, but it's not a part-time hobby. We have to be very serious about this. Shavana Kirtana Karo Anukhan Asat Pachala Chari. We should go on all the time hearing and chanting about Krishna, and give up all this. Just forget so many rubbish, so many things we have to discuss. Shota Vyadini Rajendra Nirnam Santi Sahasrasha Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Griheshu Grihamedhinam. We waste our time because we haven't seen what is the real purpose of life, to understand Atma Tattva, what is the soul. So therefore we're discussing millions of things, but we neglect to understand who am I, who is God, what is our relationship with Him. So please take it very seriously, and remember, there is not much time. Even if we do live to be 70 or 80 years old, that's not much time. These Vishwamitra, 60,000 years meditating, and he was just trying to become a Brahmarshi. And he wasn't even really, he was actually interested in status and prestige. 60,000 years meditating. And we don't even have 60 years, because by the time we start to get interested in spiritual life, we're usually already, people are already like at least 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. And then it's already, so much time is gone. So please, don't waste any time. Use your life for finding out Krishna. We're talking about Brahma Anusandhan. That means actually Krishna Anusandhan, because Param Brahma is Krishna. Even the impersonalists, they're searching after Brahma. They don't know who is Param Brahma, Krishna. We're more fortunate. By the grace of Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though in Kali Yuga we're not qualified, we're given the whole package all at once. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prapadita. Usually it takes many lifetimes to understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. Usually it takes many, many lifetimes to come to the point of understanding Krishna as everything. And even then, to understand Radha Krishna, that's even more rare. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going, just take everything all at once. So that is a great opportunity. We should take it. If we're actually intelligent, intelligence is not measured in IQ, or is not measured in which school you go to, or if you qualify to go abroad for higher studies, what they call higher studies. I don't know why they call it higher study. I mean, more advanced study of stool. I mean, it's still stool. So everything in this material world, it's all of the same nature as stool. So they're thinking it's very advanced. Higher studies. That means what? The stool stinks more, or what is it? What is that? Real higher studies means how to get out of this material world and go to Krishna. And that is so important that everything in comparison to it is absolutely insignificant. The example is given, we are in a prison. So in the prison, you might take some extra courses so you can qualify to get an extra chapati every day. They only give you 4 chapatis a day, but if you do some extra courses, then they'll give you 5 chapatis a day. So I have to work hard and get my higher certificate, then I'll get 5 chapatis a day. But if someone tells you, hey, we'll give you some knowledge, you can get out of prison altogether. Don't disturb me, I'm busy doing my course. But you don't have to, you can get out. Don't. Let me concentrate, otherwise I won't get my extra chapati. Oh. What are you going to do with such a person? Such a fool. They're so busy, higher studies, have to make career advancement, promotion, this, that. But hey, wait a minute, you don't have to do this at all. You can go to a place where there's no higher studies. You don't have to study. All you have to do is dance and sing with Krishna. Don't disturb me. I'm very busy. It's very important. Not only will I get 5 chapatis, but I'll be a prestigious prisoner. All the other prisoners will look up to me. Oh, he's a 5 chapati wala. That's what we're doing in this material world. We're so busy for our advancement, and we don't realize that it's just, instead of being a grade A worm in stool, we become a higher class worm in stool. That's all. More prestigious worm in stool. More expert at consuming stool. That's all. That's what it is in the material world. So, better not be enamored by all this nonsense. All this nonsense means everything the material world has to offer, it's all nonsense. Means it doesn't make any sense. There's no intrinsic value for the jiva in anything in this material world. The only thing of any importance to the jiva is to go to Krishna and serve Krishna. So please consider this very carefully. We don't have much time, so we have to make the best use of this human form of life, starting right now, because if we don't use this second in Krishna consciousness, then it's wasted. And ayushakshara ekopi nalabhya swarna koti bit. Even if you bring millions of dollars, any time wasted cannot be brought back. So take it seriously. Use every moment in the service of Krishna. Of course, the body requires some eating, sleeping, bathing, all these different things. But we should know that getting facilities to eat, sleep and bathe better is not the purpose of life. But the purpose of life is to come to that situation where we no longer have to get one material body after another, but we can go to Krishna, to serve Krishna and be happy with Krishna eternally. So if anyone has any questions about this, they can please ask me and I'll try and answer. Hare Krishna, as we don't have much time.
Maharaj, last week we just completed our six session Bhagavad Gita course.
Oh.
So today it was the questioning session. So if you can ask some questions to people from Bhagavad Gita.
Questions from Bhagavad Gita. You went through the whole Gita?
Yeah, 6 sessions. It was 6 week sessions. 6 days.
Bhagavad Gita means it is spoken by Bhagavan. There are other speakers in the Bhagavad Gita. Who else? Arjuna also spoke. Dhritarashtra, Sanjay. Okay. Duryodhana. Not directly. Not directly, but he's there. Pashaitan Pandu Putranam. So, indirectly he's speaking. Yeah, that's pretty indirect. We get great hope in our lives. At least I'm thinking I get great hope or great encouragement from the last verse spoken by Sanjay. What does he say? Yatra what? Not quite. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. You almost got it. Yatra Partha Dhanadhara. You should know. Dhanadhara Sabyasachi. Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutiya Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So there's great hope there. Where there's Krishna with Arjuna, then Tatra there is Shri. Shri means what? God is support. It means opulence, not material opulence. Of course it can refer to that, but here it doesn't refer to that. Vijay, victory. Bhuto becomes, and Dhruva, Niti. There is Niti. I don't think there's any proper English translation for this word Niti. Sometimes they translate as morality. But the English language concept of morality and the word Niti is something else. It's one of those untranslatable words like Dharma. So where there is Krishna and his devotee, there is all auspiciousness. So what are the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita? Say them all. One person.
First, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jiva, Karma. Pragati, material nature.
Yeah, one more.
And
Time, Kala. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma. So 4 of these are eternal and 1 isn't.
karma is not eternal.
Karma is not eternal. In one sense it is, in as much as someone's always doing something. Nahi kasit shanamapi jatu tishtate karmakrit. But in the sense that the work we do has a beginning and an end, and the result of it also has a beginning and an end. It's not eternal. And if we take karma to be activities in the material world, then that's also not eternal. So what's the... In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about different kinds of yoga. What kinds of yoga does he talk about? Let someone else answer.
Yoga are there inside Bhagavad Gita. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga.
Broadly, it could be said like that. Yeah. Sankhya yoga is mentioned here, but broadly, it's divided into karma, jnana. Each chapter is called a yoga. The first one is called, first chapter. Oh yeah, but they don't have in the Hindi book, they don't call it like that. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Each chapter is called, but in the Hindi book they don't put like that. That's the traditional names. The second chapter is called Sankhya Yoga by the traditional name. इस प्रकार भगवद गीता के प्रथम अध्याय कुरुक्षेत्र युद्ध स्थल में सैन्य निरीक्षण का भक्ति वेदांत तात्पर्य पूर्ण हुआ. They don't put the traditional Sanskrit names. So we have like that Kshetragya, Vibhaga Yoga, all these different names. Bhakti Yoga. Which chapter is Bhakti Yoga?
12.
Chapter 12, yeah.
Seven to...
Yeah, Bhakti is in the middle. Why in the middle? First 6 chapters are the last 6 and middle 6 Bhakti. Why is Bhakti in the middle if it's top?
More condensed and concealed.
Huh?
Condensed and concealed.
Like a sandwich.
Well, the most precious thing is kept in the middle, protected. That's given by Vishwanath Chakravarti. Okay, seems like you did. Who gave the course? Who is teaching? Is he here now? Seems like he taught you quite well. So you all have to live like Arjuna now. What is Arjuna's perfection? And that's not all. Say the rest. Karishye vachanam tava. Stito smi yata sandeha. Karishye vachanam tava. I'm ready to do what you say. That is Arjuna's perfection. How should we understand Bhagavad Gita?
By devotion.
Yeah, but Prabhupada specifically mentions that we should understand it as Arjuna understood it in the introduction, and Prabhupada quotes a verse or part of a verse. How did Arjuna understand it? What was his attitude? Well, Arjuna was hearing directly from Krishna, so where was the parampara then?
This friendly and non-envious attitude.
It's something else I'm looking for.
Surrender.
Sarvam etadvritang manye yanmam vadisi keshava. I accept everything you say, Krishna. That's specifically Prabhupada mentioned in the introduction. No, that's not in the first chapter. That's in chapter 10, isn't it? Where does that come? It's already... Nahi te bhagavan vyakting vidur deva nadanavaha. I don't know exactly where it is. You can look it up. Sarva Meta. Yeah, here it is. chapter 10, text 14. After recognizing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says that. So you all have good brains. Use them to understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Learn these slokas. Live by them. Preach them.